We're in the wrong position.
That's every one of you guys in the future that are going special forces.
Ambush, sir. We should sit tight. Let the enemy team come in our killing zone.
They're right up there somewhere. Let's just get them.
Sir, we have perfect cover here.
Lieutenant, deploy your troops.
Signal 2. Move out.
So a couple things here. This is Camp McCall and doing small unit tactics. So all you guys going special forces, you're going to Camp McCall and you're going to be doing the same, setting up ambushes and moving through the woods just like this. This is exactly what you're going to be doing. So I don't know if you picked up on it, but obviously they had a perfect ambush position. Mm-hmm. And they set it up. It's money. All they had to do was wait. And then the captain's like, they're over there. Let's go get them. And he's like, wow, why? That's stupid. And they end up all getting killed.
Why did it say he was in the wrong place?
So he thought he was lost. So panic starts to set in. And again, that's going to happen to all you candidates. You start second guessing yourself. Because a lot of time you're doing terrain association. So you're like, this should be the draw that we're in, but you don't know for sure. And maybe the draw isn't quite as grown in as it used to be. So you can't like 100% say, this is our draw. So you say, I think this is our draw. And you get yourself in that dug in position. And when it's about time to execute, you start really second guessing yourself. And you're like, is this the draw? Is it a draw over there? Did I miss it? Did we make the wrong turn? And all of a sudden you start to feel this overwhelming sense of being lost and like the world's kind of caving in on you. And that's why land nav is so important in selection, because once the self-doubt starts setting in and the feeling of being lost and not knowing where you are and hitting the wrong objective and not finding your points, panic really starts to set in, and it separates people who are able to get that under control and just go off the data that they had and they accumulated through their movement, and those who just go in full out panic mode.
Right.
And sometimes it's like the captain did here. It's easier to go into panic mode and say, I'm going to do this, and just make up a plan instead of having some patience and kind of letting it play out.
Right.
So, and another important thing is I've had this situation where I was in, was it Robin Sage, and we had a movement and I didn't know if we're in the right position or not. And my buddy, who like kind of like the lieutenant in this one, was like, I'm pretty sure this is it, dude. We need to just wait and see before we initiate. And I was so panicked that I just wanted to change the plan and like chase that panic. It's almost like you want to chase the panic. Like as though you're going to outrun the panic and find your way again. And I chose to listen to him because I knew that he wasn't in a leadership position, which meant he had less stress on him, which meant he was probably thinking more clearly than I was. So I chose to trust him, and he ended up being right. We assaulted the objective perfectly, and then the cadre started giving me all the credit. Hey, man, good job, good decision, everything went great. And it's like, if it wasn't for this guy having a cool, calm, and collected head about him, I would have completely changed the plan, and this would be a completely different conversation right now. But he tries to use his rank and just his lieutenant down,
Right.
and it ends up getting the whole platoon killed. And even though it's training, it's very, very serious, because that training operation will dictate how well you perform and which mission you get when you go out on operation. So if you mess up training, like in a pre-deployment training, if you mess that up, your command says, nah, they suck. What's the best mission? It's this one. Nah, I give it to that team instead.
Right.
So these things are very, very serious. It's not just all, a big play and then you're just playing and going home and then you get the same mission regardless.
Right.
I'm reassigning you to Chilton Foley.
I'm losing Easy Company?
War effort needs you elsewhere.
Permission to speak, sir.
Granted.
This pisses me off because this is so accurate to the Army. When higher ranking individuals get fired, they just get promoted away. That's the Army's answer to officers and to high ranking NCOs. You don't ever get fired. You get moved. So that way they don't have to deal with the repercussions of you being upset or hurting your feelings. It's like everyone in the bottom, all the privates, the specialists, you get fired, canned, Article 15, you get your, just the army just slaps its big on your forehead and make you walk around with the stamp 24/7. They treat you like staff duty, just the worst, right? We on the lower enlisted. But as soon as you make rank and you're one of the higher echelon, when you get fired because you're a piece of shit, they say, hey man, this is a promotion. And technically on paper, they get promoted. He's getting demoted in the sense that he's not going to combat with his men, which is embarrassing. And everyone in his circle knows that that's not a good thing because you want to place your best in combat situations where boots are on the ground. It really matters. But on paper, he's still getting promoted. So he's still being fast-tracked to the next higher ranks.
So they're taking the Catholic priest approach?
Yeah, just move him to a different church.
Right, yeah.
And that's exactly what they do with these. And it's like, this guy's clearly, his intentions were found that he's. So what do? We promote him away. He's no longer our problem. I've had plenty of people that I've seen in the military that should be just straight up fired and put on desks that it should be obviously being fired, and they're just promoted away. And it's like on paper they're getting a promotion.
Now they're just somebody else's problem somewhere else.
Exactly. That's exactly what they do. It's just someone else's problem. Move them along, kick them down. As a matter of fact, shine it up the turd a little bit, make it look like a promotion on paper, so at the end of the day they still win. And it's what's up, guys? This video is sponsored by 18 Alpha Fitness. If you haven't checked it out and if you want to go special operations, you need a good fitness plan. Go check out Kevin over at 18 Alpha Fitness. He's a former Green Beret. He knows what he's doing. His post job from the military, from Special Forces, was helping Air Force Special Operations get physically fit. This guy is on point, and he's a great dude. He could do custom plans and just a common plan that I use, which is awesome, the kettlebell program. But I highly recommend you get a custom plan. Use code word BUCK, and he'll hook you up.